Gensel on the right. He's got Jake Gensel.
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game. Wow. You know what? Nicholas Callis came up with a nice, you see how crisp that Pittsburgh sports line looked there? That looked clean and crisp. We're starting our 11th year. Is this 794?
Yeah.
Okay, I still dispute that I've done over 800. There's 10 other shows, but that's for another day. Hello to all of you. Thanks for watching our Pittsburgh Sportsline show live in the BP TV studios right here in the Municipal Building. Police stations to the right, we're on the left. Up above us is the library, the mayor's office and admin offices are all up there. This is the epicenter of Bethel Park. Smoking Jim's looking up epicenter. So good luck, Smoking Jim. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between in the greater Pittsburgh area, including the city of Pittsburgh. We had a great luncheon today at the Rivers Club, so anybody that wanted to watch our show tonight, it's 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It's a live show on Facebook. Hello to all our Facebook friends. We got a couple checking in. Chief McElroy is watching us. Patrick Higgs, thanks for watching us. And we'll see who else joins in. So we appreciate it. Thanks for all your likes on Facebook. I didn't get to check it out, Nick.
6989.
6989. We're dropping.
That's not. That's clappable.
Well, Smoking Jim,
I'll get you.
I don't know.
Number.
All of you might be younger than when the clapper came out and it turned the lights on and off. He's trying to shut me up. It's not going to work. And that was not a clappable.
No.
Yeah, that's actually lower than we were at 69.97.
Yeah, I'll get you a number here.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time.
Nick's working on it because on Facebook it's a little confusing. You got followers, you got likes.
8-9.
And by the way, I got a shout out. Nick created our Pittsburgh Sportsline page for me on YouTube. Please subscribe to it. I think we're under 30. We'd like to at least get a few more people. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live here, check out the YouTube page, and it's my own private channel.
You can see Smoking Jim from back when he was quiet.
Can you show me how to get to that link?
I can. You literally just go to YouTube and search Pittsburgh Sportsline channel, and you'll see it.
And I couldn't do it.
Well, Smoking Jim, CHANNEL.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. He's a proud and distinguished Gateway High School. I think he got a degree.
Wait a minute. Did you mention the word gateway?
Yes.
Didn't they get dish ragged by McKeesport Friday night?
Oh.
I'm glad I could set you up because that's my mother's family hometown, McKeesport.
That's tough.
Amy's watching. Hello, Amy.
I mean,
Thanks
they
for
didn't just
watching.
get beat, did they?
Well,
You look great, though. You got some cologne on, too. I like how it smells.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I told him if he went to the lunch, he had to wear a suit. He couldn't wear size 27 Nikes. He couldn't have sweatpants. He couldn't have 3 layers, including a hoodie.
That's what a referee would wear to a fancy dinner. Look at it.
No, I never saw a referee wear a suit
Breast
like that.
cancer.
No, look, no, not that. The stripes.
Breast cancer.
He didn't get it.
No, you don't.
That's all right. We won't explain it. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier all dressed up to end the year. We're closing down on this year. Chip Hayner's here with us. Nick Callis, the VIP. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. And we have some promotions, but we have the first ever father-son camera crew. Johnny Mariano, great Bethel Park resident, works for our judge, Judge Arnone, right here locally. His young son, Michael, has been begging his dad to let him film the talking machine. So we're going to let him do it. We're going to start out right now.
Big hand for Mike.
Let's see how Mike does this. He can have assistance from his dad because you got to give a little adjustment. See if he can pull that up, get the close-up on this the best he can. We'll see. This is live TV. He's working on it.
We're getting there. There you go.
We're getting
Look
there.
at that.
Hey.
Send it right in.
Whoa, and we
Like a
also,
pro.
I'm talking about the volunteers. Nick's a volunteer. We're all volunteers. We got a new volunteer called Buck. Nick Gasper, Bethel Park High School pitcher. He's in the control room on his second day at BPTV.
He's doing great.
How's it look out there, folks? Looks good to me. Bethel Park is proud of our new BPTV control room guy. Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza. Johnny and Michael didn't have a slice, so I'm worried about it.
And that was the best pepperoni pizza that Jim ever had.
Yes, I remember those days. Yes. And they have great Italian food. And Johnny Marinara knows it. Marinara. I got it. Marinara. He knows about that. And they got great salads, pasta, you name it. Great Italian food. Frank Fanero, he sponsors our show. He said to say hi to Smoking Jim and all of us. He goes, "What are you going to talk about?" And I go, "We've been doing sports for 11 years, so we're not going to change." And he goes, "Oh, have a good show." I call them at 412-831-1900. All right, we're going to test Michael again. Guess what we do? We put up another promo. Tim Davis II is watching our show. Shout out to Tim Davis II. He's the father of Colleen Chaos Davis, who's fighting as a pro at the Meadows on October 29th. So we're out, Smoking Jim.
Wow.
We got kicked to the curb. All right, let's see. Look at that. With help from Johnny, Mariano, and young Michael. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. You'll hear it all the time. We honor Joey, who died of the dreaded brain cancer, DIPG. It's a death sentence when they get it. He died at 8 years ago. 8 years ago at 8 years old. And it's just a shame. The family, that's the second child they lost, and they started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. It's a 501c3. We explained it 2 years ago to Smoking Jim. That means it's tax deductible, $1, $10, $20, whatever you can afford to help them find a cure for the dreaded brain cancer, DIPG. So check them out and let us know. And they do their biggest event. It's in September. It was the Joey Fabus 5K 1 mile walk against DIPG with superheroes. And you can see it on YouTube. You can go to the YouTube Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. And don't wait for Smoking Jim to do it because he can't spell channel.
Yikes.
All right. Oh, did that slip out? I was just thinking that. On a happier note, Bennett is the young man smiling in the picture. He was handicapped, had disabilities, had 2 kidney transplants. His dad, Dean, gave him the second kidney. His mother, Kristen, after he died at 16 and a half, Kristen and Dean started Always Be Smiling, honoring Bennett, who died at 16 and a half. But he was always smiling, and you never knew the health issues and problems he had. So they wanted to keep that going for young children that need kidney transplants. They do events on the Montour Trail. They do fundraisers. They're also a 501c3. You can donate as little as $1 or a couple dollars. You can like their page. 411 of my friends have liked their page and boosted it up to 1,200 likes. They thank every one of you, and so do I. And if you're new to the show and you haven't liked Always Be Smiling, please give them a like. It does help, and Facebook is counting them again, Nick.
Yes. This is good.
All right. Michael gets another test. Let's see what we got going on here. This is smaller, so we'll see if he can get it. He got it. Way to go, Michael. 12 years old, and he's on fire here.
Brighter than I was at 12.
Yeah, the Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. It has the white and red trolley there, has an old flag there. It has skeletons in the yard. Smoking Jim's too scared to have coffee there right now. But they have, it's a 1905 schoolhouse, been completely remodeled. All the way in the top floor, it has the Bethel Park Community Foundation Auditorium. I'm a trustee with them. They do events there. They do weddings, graduations, birthday parties, communions, you name it.
It's not haunted, is it?
No, only outside. There's skeletons all over. There's about a dozen skeletons.
None in the closet, right?
Well, I can't tell you about that. Don't open up any doors that are closed. I will tell you that. You may be surprised. They even have a dance studio. They have an artist there. They have my favorite green tea place in Bethel Park, which is called Reginald's Coffee. I've been told that they have the best coffee in the area, better than Starbucks, better than Dunkin' Donuts and anybody else that has coffee. They have fresh roasted, world-renowned coffee. Bags of coffee come in from all over the world. They have a roaster right in their shop, and they roast it right there. And hundreds of my friends, and you know I know a few people, they swear by it and said, check it out. I don't like coffee, so I'm not going to check it out, but I go there for green tea, and it's delicious. All right, we're going to have a little fun, Michael. This is a bigger one. We'll see what you can do. Johnny, you remember some of this.
Nice.
There, that's good.
Perfect. Nice job.
Good teamwork. The first father-son dynamic duo on the cameras. They're here with Batman. Batman's all dressed up. Amy said, Smoking Jim, you look nice. She said,
thank
very
you, Amy.
nice.
Thank you, Amy.
One of our bigger fans of the show on Facebook. Thank you. And we appreciate you. Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. Can you see what Michael did? He got a picture of my face on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. I'll bet Michael knows who Uncle Sam is. He learned it in Bethel Park. Michael, to talk about Smoking Jim, he only found out about Uncle Sam last year when I told him in 1813 they started Uncle Sam with a cartoonish type character. So he learned a little later in life. And
Nobody knew that.
By the way, we don't know how old Smoking Jim is.
Yes, we do. We're just not telling anybody.
All right, I want you for BPTV like Michael. His cousin Marco's going to be coming in here.
Just walked in, actually.
Actually, Marco just walked in, so we'll be quiet,
On
guys.
CP time?
No,
Oh.
he was
Well, no,
he was
yes.
playing with the band. He's a member of the band, the Bethel Park High School Band. So that's what's going on there. And we want you for BPTV. Call 412-831-3304 or just walk in like Johnny and his son and tell Dave Cable you want to work on Pittsburgh Sportsline. We let them in. I don't refuse any volunteers that want to make us look good on the camera.
Yeah.
This father-son team's making us look good. All right, we got to test you again, Michael. Last one. Are you ready? Whoop, let me straighten it up. Get it? Oh, thank you. Chris Richard, where's that picture? Hey, my longtime friend from 1974, Chris Richard, said, where was that picture today? Oops, I forgot it, but it was nice to see you, my longtime friend. And the last time I called him to invite him to go to lunch, I said, are you on the golf course? He called me back and said, yes, I was. Today he came to lunch at the Rivers Club. He said, it's not golf weather today. So it shows he's a smart teacher from out in the North Hills. Shout out to Ralph Williams. Hello, guys. Ralph got all those shows on PCTV. Check it out.
That's my man.
All right, let me get through this because Tony from Chick-fil-A is saying something, so we'll have to check that out. All right. Wanted, Bethel Park groups and organizations who need money. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has grant money for you. Listen to this, $100 to $5,000 in grants for you and your organization doing great things in Bethel Park. You can't just dress up in a suit and want money from the Bethel Park Community Foundation and said, yes, I'm on BPTV.
Yeah, you have to wear a nice hat too.
Well, I'm on there as a trustee. He's not accepted. Definitely go to bpcf.org, get your application. We meet every 2 months. Maybe we can approve your grant. We've given out over $1 million in 26 years. So plenty of people and their groups have got money to make Bethel a better community. We thank all of you, and we have our Bethel Bounty coming up November 6th. Smokin' Jim, it's $50 to eat from 22 different vendors. I told you last week that I'm undefeated on that.
I may come this year to give you a
Run for my money.
Yeah.
Guess what? I saw you eat today. You would give me a serious run for the money. I'm telling you, you ate everything off your plate. I left a few pieces of rice. I couldn't pick them up with my fork. He picked everything up off the plate. Well, enough about Smokin' Jim. bpcf.org. Check it out. All right, now we got. Wait a second. How do we get this message from Tony from Chick-fil-A? I just saw the new Chick-fil-A on 51. They got double windows and you can order
Pleasant
from.
Hills.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
saw it. And I go to my son Drew. That's what Tony's going to be working with. All right, so he got a question. Smoking the Hustler Jim looking sharp, man. He has to with all those sweeties. Tony, that's the smartest comment you've ever made on here, even though it was a non-sports. Some of the sweeties have been ring card girls and pro fitness type competitors. And we've even had the bikini competitors.
Yes, sir.
And we ask them how they train out, and some of them don't even train out or eat right. All right, Chief goes MVP, and Smokin' Jim will be happy. Yankees up 5-1 in the ninth.
Over the Indians.
Love that. Nope.
Guardians.
Well, same thing.
All right, we're going to go to Smokin' Jim. What's on your mind, Smokin' Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. And I tell you what, man, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. You white guys are just tougher than anybody else. My main man, Buck, is 30 degrees outside. He walking around in shorts.
Yeah.
You white guys are just tough. And I tell you what, another thing that white guys do is they'll big time you. You know, we go to a lunch event. Nick don't even sit with us. He don't speak to us. He's with the mayor. He's with the governor. He's with the keynote speaker. But that's okay, Nick.
That's an inaccurate perspective. I showed up first.
Hold it, wait, let me do the disclaimer. These comments and opinions are only Smokin' Jim's. Nick and I were there. We disagree 100%. Chip wasn't there.
With me, though. Al sat with me.
Well, the only reason I
Al
sat.
said, "This is my black friend." I was the only black in the room.
No way. There was a.
You know,
I gotta disclaim this.
I know how it feels, Jim. I'm feeling your pain.
But I tell you what.
Hold it, I gotta disclaim this. He's on a rant that's out of control, and there were another nice black couple who were famous artists and jazz musicians were there. Mabutu Reynolds and Charlotte Ka. Mabutu. He's known as a jazz. He traveled the world.
Wow.
In the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. He has an arts gallery called MoKA, M-O-K-A, Center Avenue in the Hill District. I did a show with Jessica Lee there. It's a great place. They're building construction there. They're going to put an art gallery and a park all right in the corner in the Hill District. So when you say I know more about black people in the Hill District, that's my roots. I was born 105 Pride Street. So what he said was false.
Well, you were smart to get out of there.
I didn't have a choice.
But
No, they were putting the Civic Arena in.
yeah, but I tell you what, man, it's just an honor being around Al Levine, the talking machine, just watching him walk the room. I always say he's Johnny Carson, I'm Ed McMahon. And I tell you what, Rivers Club, downtown, the Oxford Center, I had a hard time finding where to go.
I understood. That's why I didn't want to explain it to you, but I said dress like you're a businessman.
But it was a beautiful place.
Thank you.
The food was great, and the keynote speaker knew my college coach. Him and his dad had some roots in Charleroi and stuff like that.
Well,
And
his
when I said
dad
about my
actually
college
coached Cal U before you were born.
coach, I didn't know that.
You missed that.
Wow, I
His-
didn't know that.
I forget his first name, but Proton's the last name. Let me spell it. Protin.
You know what I call all my coaches,
Coach.
and that's
And
what's
you know
on
what
my-
they called you. We can't repeat on air.
And that's what's on my mind. I tell you what, I could have took some of that bread home. That bread was good. I didn't
Wasn't
eat
it?
it all up.
I
Wasn't
thought
good?
It was softer than it usually is, and
and
that's
the
awesome.
coffee was good.
I didn't drink the coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
You know
was
what?
good.
I thought you took a couple of those rolls in your
I
pocket.
know. I should have. I should
You
have.
check your pockets.
But thanks again, Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, that lunch was worth paying for. I'm glad I got it for free.
Yeah. You're welcome. I won't talk about what I paid for parking. I couldn't park in the one garage, had to go to another garage, walk a block down. I let Nick go, and Nick goes, I don't know how I'm going to find it. I go, walk through the exit door, go to the right, and then go to the right to the elevator.
And I did it. I did.
Then
I didn't see smoking.
Then
there.
let me give the
You
saga
need a little
continue.
trail of breadcrumbs, and you never
Well,
go wrong.
I already knew where to go. Then continue the story to dispute what Smoking Jim said. I go into the room. I didn't see Nick to the left because he was sitting with 3 or 4 other guys. And then I turn and Smoking Jim goes, hey, here's a seat for you. I saved it. So I go, okay, I got to go. Then I turn to run. There's Nick. Then he's with a couple guys from AT&T.
White guy.
No, just one.
Well, I thought it was 2 at first. Then the other said cyber insurance, so I didn't know if he was a dual worker.
No, Russ and Matt, my guys. Nice people.
Yeah, so I introduced him to somebody, a good networking thing there. And James Proton does a podcast. You can find it on YouTube. You can see in an 1.5-hour show when he interviewed the Talking Machine about a month ago. Then he wanted my friend Jessica Lee, because he heard her sing and knows she does a lot of nonprofit things and business and events. He interviewed her a couple weeks later for an hour. So you can watch Jessica Lee and the Talking Machine be interviewed by James Proton. He's just a great down-to-earth guy, realistic guy, and he likes Smoking Jim, which I find unusual. All right. We got to go to Chip. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Helen, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to our humble 1-hour bit of nonsense that we do every.
And some facts.
You know, very few.
Right.
Very few.
Well, on this 3/4 of it's more facts than fiction.
So now, all of a sudden, 1 week later, we're not firing our coach. We're not firing our offensive coordinator.
Did we win?
We're not firing the ownership group.
Steelers got the
All
Super
is
Bowl.
well in Steeler Nation because the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the heavily favored Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
With Tom Brady.
Well, and was that the real Tom Brady? And that leads me to another thing that I'll get out of the way with first. It looks like all the senior citizen quarterbacks that are getting paid a whole lot of money don't seem to be doing quite well. Look at Karen Rodgers.
He's
Look
getting
at Tom
42
Brady.
million.
And
He's
wait a
getting
minute,
30 million.
Wait a minute. And what about Russell Wilson? Now, who do you think has a bigger quarterback problem? The Denver Broncos, who are paying somebody $250 million to get their team into position to kick 4 field goals a game, or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Right.
I'm excited to see Deshaun Watson play now with all the money he got.
Well, yeah, we'll
It
we'll
might
see,
be
we'll
delayed.
see what
There's
happens.
another case against
But-
them.
Yeah.
Speaking about quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe that the Steelers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Kenny Pickett got hurt on Sunday. If you look at his statistics through the game, Yes, he threw his first touchdown pass, but he'd only thrown for 67 yards the entire game to the point where he got injured.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky came in, was 9 of 12, 144 yards, a touchdown, a 142.1 quarterback rating.
That's pretty
Makes
good.
you want to scratch your head as to, is Kenny Pickett the franchise quarterback
Don't look at me
that
because
the
you know my
media
feelings.
has dubbed him to be? Because this is what determines whether or not somebody's a franchise quarterback. Their play on the field, not what the media says about them. And so far, he's thrown 1 touchdown pass, 4 interceptions, and the offense has not been a house of fire. I still think that Kenny Pickett could be a good NFL quarterback. As far as being a franchise quarterback, jury's still out on that one. That's what's on my mind.
I got to consult somebody then real quick. Do you think Kenny Pickett's going to be our franchise QB?
No.
Oh, no.
He thinks Mason
That's not going to
Rudolph
happen.
is.
He predicted T.J. Watt was going to be a franchise
No,
guy.
but he
Look at that.
predicted Mason Rudolph should be the starter.
Oh, that's right. You like Mason Rudolph. Never mind.
And mark my words, I don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to play this week, even though Tomlin said he would, but the concussion protocols may dictate that he doesn't play this week. And if that's the case, Mason Rudolph will be our backup.
Yeah.
And if Mitch Trubisky goes down, we may see Mason Rudolph.
To have some
Smoking Jim's like Nostradamus.
Smoking doesn't think that he's going to be back, and I was trying to explain to you at the lunch.
You're right. I agree
5
with
days. A concussion protocol is 5 days. You have to pass 5
You're right.
intense workouts to be eligible to play again
You're
or
right.
practice again.
Well,
And I
they
would know
changed
that
them.
because I've
You're
been
right.
through it since I was in high school, which wasn't all that long ago. So it's 5 days of intense workouts. And
They've updated
if he
that.
passes those 5 days, he'll be back.
He'll be
and
back.
if you can count,
No,
it's 5 days will happen before Sunday.
You're right.
Nick,
I agree.
to speak to that point, they've changed the protocols within the last 2 to 3 weeks because what happened to Tua Tagovailoa. Okay,
That's
so,
true.
so however,
How about Tua?
how about we'll just call him Tua?
Yeah.
But everything has changed, and I would be very surprised if the NFL protocols allow Kenny Pickett to play this week.
That's
Well,
fine.
this-
How many days is a concussion protocol? Then?
They don't,
I still think it's 5.
they've changed it, but they haven't
How
put
did
it
they
into
change it?
writing for it. How did they change it? Look what's happened. Everybody
It's
that's
still
been
5.
concussed.
It's still
Ev-
5 days.
Both of you
Yeah.
guys are right, but let me
Everybody
just
that's
clarify.
been everybody that's been concussed has had to sit out a week before they were able to come back.
But in this case, you guys are both right, but let me just clarify it.
Why? Because they're right?
No, because number one,
I beat
first
'em.
of all, people come here to Pittsburgh from all over the world because we got the best doctors. And those doctors
I'll vouch for that.
And those doctors have already cleared Kenny Pickett to go through a full practice this week, so he'll be playing. Because they cleared the doctors here.
You was talking to Mike
Cyril
T.
Wax.
You was talking to your old buddy Mike T, huh? Does that sound like exactly what he said at the press conference today? But all I'm saying is everybody that's been concussed so far has had to sit out a game before they came
And
back.
that wasn't much of a hit, so it was probably a mild
Oh,
concussion.
well,
Not how he got
They
slapped
just
on
have to. They have to pass the 5 days to make sure.
if only Kevin Dotson would have really held that. He got flagged for holding any quarterback on his clock lead. If you're going to get flagged for holding, tackle the guy.
Right. Thank you, Chip. We appreciate it. Smoking Jim, no thanks for your comments.
I'm Dr. J.
You're the opposite of Dr. J.
Yeah.
Amy said, Smoking Jim, I like your tie.
Oh, thank you. It's for breast cancer awareness.
Thank you for explaining that because it's sort of hidden in that tricolor tie. You know, it's a tricolor tie. All right, 6'8". Thanks for watching us.
My man
I forget
Shook.
his name. Okay, thank you. Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
Well, I didn't want to mention. I think Kenny Pickett will be ready for Sunday because to further explain the protocols real quick, it's 5 days of gradual of workouts that gradually get more intense. So if he passes the 5 days with the intense workouts, then they just want to make sure no symptoms are going to come back. So that's what I was going to say. Number one. Number two, Chip jinxed the Atlanta Braves, and I think he jinxed the Yankees because he said they're going to win, and I think he did that sarcastically. So maybe they're not. He said that they were going to win it all. So we're in trouble, Smoking. So that's tough. But down,
You saw through that.
yeah,
He's
down,
been doing it for years.
down go the Braves. So that's kind of sad. And I hate almost every team that's left. I really hope the Yankees hung on, and I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so to be continued with that. But and then there's the Steelers. A bunch of upsets on Saturday, including wins by the Falcons. The Giants, who aren't good, but they're good because they win games. But are they good? Sure. I don't know. Interesting team. Interesting team. Interesting team. So that's cool. And then the Steelers were one of the upsets, which
Hold
makes,
it, wait, to
what's up?
interrupt you. When you don't know if somebody's 5-1's any good, what were the Steelers when they were 11-0?
That's a good point. They weren't a playoff team.
No, they were criticized.
Yeah, for not doing.
Good point.
All the negative Neds. I don't forget some of that.
I was
stuff.
just being sarcastic. I do
No,
agree.
no, I'm not
I
either.
agree that their record shows that they're a good
Just
football
my
team.
point.
Whether
Easy,
the names
relax.
on there are,
Relax,
are
young puppy.
recognizable
It was
or not.
just a point. You
All
did
right,
well.
all right,
You
all
did
right.
well.
But
carry on.
and
You're
then
correct.
Steelers are one of the upsets, which is great. Kenny Pickett was allowed to throw a touchdown pass, so that's awesome because their schemes before were just
He hadn't
not
thrown one yet.
great. Right. Well, I mean, it was just. I mean, it's tough. I don't really know what to think. Like I my heart's still broken, but I'm also like. They won against the Bucs. Are they playing up to competition? Well, no, because they got slaughtered by the Buffalo Bills. But they lost to a team like the Jets that might be good this year. I don't know. This is crazy. The division's terrible, but I want to end my what's on your mind with this. Just fathom that on the trajectory that all the AFC North teams are on right now, the Steelers might not finish last.
Wow.
And they
One
might
game-
finish
they're one game out of first place.
They might finish second. I mean, this is a way
Super Bowl.
it's a way too early prediction, but like, just
Don't predict. You
I don't-
jinxed them last time.
I don't have. Oh no, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl this time. That was all sarcastic.
Okay, you
but
caught
I'm just
yourself.
trying to sit here and fathom. I'm like, what are we watching? What is the division? Okay, that's what's on my mind. Okay.
We're watching. I'm going to get a little play on words here. We're watching the parody of parody in the NFL.
Chip, you stole my words that Pete Rozelle, you remember how his goal was to have parity in the NFL? He succeeded. Oh, thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Chip and I were just old and reminiscing.
Okay.
You'll get to be that way someday.
Can't wait.
At 23, you're going to be older next month or 2 months from
2
now.
months from now.
So, all right, what's on my mind? What's on everybody else's mind? We thought the Steelers would lose by 14 or more points. That was the largest, and the NFL, by the way, doesn't believe in gambling, yet there's point spreads, and you got all these FanDuel and all these gambling concerns paying them billions of dollars. I heard the latest count is they get $18 billion of revenue. Smoking Jim could live on that with his sweeties for 1 week. 1 week. But they got $18 billion. So my thing, how can you have a depleted, like, backfield of the defense, safeties, cornerbacks, they're all gone. And then you have TJ Watt, the future Hall of Famer, they're not playing defense. How do these guys stand up to the legendary GOAT, Tom Brady, who's a little distracted? You know, he's going through a divorce. Any of you that have been through a divorce like I've been, you know it can take your eye, no pun intended, your eye off the ball. Okay? It can happen.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I mean, I could be way off the mark here. It probably didn't have anything to do with good coaching, do you think?
No.
Okay.
You know, Chip, the reason being is when we lose, it's always because of the coaches.
I'm just saying, you know.
Oh, do you live in Pittsburgh or did you just fly in today?
No, I get awakened once a week.
No, I understand. Sorry about that. Just looking to see who's watching. What happens is we never give enough. We give too much credit to the quarterbacks winning or losing. We blame coaches for the inefficiencies of players, like we've discussed every week on their blocking or not. Like I've been saying for at least since the beginning of the season that Najee Harris is hurt. What does he say a couple days before the game? I've been wearing a steel plate to heal my foot. People are telling me Najee's a bust, Najee's terrible, he shouldn't be playing, he can't cut to get in the hole. All of you put a Herman Munster boot on one of your feet and try to cut. Try to run forward. Try to jump over the line when your foot's heavier and weighed down with a plate. Najee looked a little better. And guess what? The offensive linemen, I watch them, it looked like they got in front of guys. And Nick will tell you, if you get in front of a guy rushing, he may have to move you out of the way or move to get around you. So Najee was able to gain some yards, and they look somewhat better. But how the heck did Megatron, who's looked terrible since his rookie year, catch all these passes over the middle?
You mean Mapletron?
Mapletron, yeah, sorry, I was going back, reminiscing again. I stand corrected. Mapletron, my son says it all the time, he looked good. Where did he come from? Was he coached up? Then, I've been critical of Tomlin for the last so many years. You know the Penguins, they start out fast. Look at Sidney Crosby, first 2 games. They start out fast with goals and win 6-2 in the first 2. Then they get beaten overtime. I digress a little. Why can't our football teams start out fast? Guess what we saw? Kenny Pickett's first touchdown of his NFL Hall of Fame career, as they say. They're all saying that, including next to me. Let me take a deep breath. I'll carry on. That was nice to see. And it was nice to have a score at the beginning of the game. I thought maybe this will be a good game to watch, but it was interesting for me, and the defense played great. I must say, whatever problems Brady has, I appreciate them. And the defensive backs stood up, and they made some nice plays, which they had to. I'm wondering if everybody but Minkah should not come back for a week or 2.
Good point.
Just bring Minkah back and let's see what we have with those interchanging.
The one thing the Steelers did this week that they didn't do against the Jets and that they didn't do against the Patriots was they got the ball with 4 minutes or so left in the game.
Yeah.
And
I was going to close with that, so
Brady
carry
never
on.
got a chance to get back on the field, just like the Jets did to us, just like the Patriots did to us. That's the recipe for winning.
Well, as you know, if you can run the ball and chew up the clock.
Well, you know, Trubisky was completing 3rd and 16 passes. I mean, we were converting 3rd downs that were more than 10 yards. So.
All I can say is whatever leash they had Trubisky on, that you're not allowed to make a mistake, you could cost us the game. He got rid of the leash, and he threw some nice passes. How about the ball he was throwing? It was a nice ball. Would you say that, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking with the younger generation here. Thanks for that remark. But I was happy to see the Steelers do that. Does that mean they're going to the playoffs? No.
Yes.
Does that mean they're going? Does that mean they're going to have a winning record?
Yes.
I think this will be Tomlin. I'll go on the record, his first losing season.
No.
Which, since we're being held to a level, the standard is not the standard. The next man is not up, and winning and not losing as a head coach for 16 years means something. It means you're mediocre. We'll be back with Smokin' Jim with Fiction and Fact from his almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and Chip. Who do you think Deontay Johnson wants as a quarterback? But hey, listen, everybody that's out here,
Mason Rudolph.
if you haven't started betting,
Don't start.
get on my bandwagon because I can't lose forever. I lost a ton of money against Cincinnati. Steelers beat them. And I tell you what, elevator talking machine, I put everything I had on Buffalo. There's no way that the Buffalo Bills could win. And little Mikey, he's too young to remember, but his dad, Johnny, can probably remember back in 1989. Steelers started the first 2 games 51-0. I'm at 3 Rivers. Next week against Cincinnati, 41-10.
Well, I think it was 55 the first game.
No, 51.
Was it only 51?
It was 92-10. We lost
Yeah,
the first
okay.
2 games.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, I don't make mistakes. And they went
Except
on.
when you gamble.
And they went on to make the playoffs. And Merrill Hodge, speaking of concussions, Merrill Hodge had a great game against Houston and almost beat the Denver Broncos. So it's possible that the Pittsburgh Steelers could go on that roll. And I got the echo my man Chip.
I'll bet you $1 right now, and I don't bet
I only bet
that
Snickers.
doesn't happen.
Only bet Snickers.
I'll bet
my
a Snicker.
A full Snickers bar for Halloween. Nick.
Here's what I'll do for you. I'll bet
over
you.
100 of them in the bowl for Halloween.
Here, Smoking Jim, I'll bet you one Snicker bar and one of my favorite bars, Payday,
Yeah.
that the Steelers don't do that, what you said.
Well, I already got money on Philadelphia. I'll be at the Philadelphia Steelers.
Hold it,
game
I
in
wanted to bet
Philly.
on the Steelers.
Yeah, in Philly. So yeah,
Against them.
I think you're right. But just one last
Where's
thing.
my Payday and Snickers?
But one last
won
thing
yet.
before I go to Philadelphia, not wearing black and gold, but Al Levine, the talking machine.
Yes.
I give credit where credit is due.
Where is it?
The Steelers, you got to give the Steelers coaching staff credit for what they did on that defense, the calls they were making. The 99, the African was making plays right up the middle on Brady, like Chip said. These
Can't
guys
you
are
pronounce his name?
No, it's not. And
Begins with an
and
O.
Al Levine, the talking machine. The Pittsburgh Steelers have to win this week, and they should have an edge because Brian Flores has coached that talent and recruited that talent and has been almost paid to throw games with that talent when he was in Miami. So they should know how to beat Miami. So the Pittsburgh Steelers could be on a 2-game winning streak.
All right, before he gets off of here, the disclaimer is it's a family-friendly show. If you don't bet, don't start. If you do bet,
I'm about to get hot.
if you do bet, you would have made a ton of money the last few weeks or the last month betting against Smoking Jim.
Yes.
And he's an honest man, so he's confirming that. So don't start betting. All right, we're going to go to, thanks, Smoking. We're going to go to Chip Hayner and trivia time in 10 seconds.
Welcome back, everybody. In this week's trivia, we're paying tribute to another Major League Hall of Famer that has recently passed away. This is a gentleman who was one of the most dominant relievers in the late 70s and early 80s in Major League Baseball. He pioneered the use of the split-fingered fastball. There was none other than Bruce Sutter, who pitched for a number of different teams in his career. Played 12 seasons in the major leagues between 76 and 88. He's one of the sport's most dominant relievers in the late 70s and early 80s, making effective use of the split-fingered fastball, a 6-time All-Star, 1982 World Series champion, recorded a 2.83 career ERA, and 300 saves, the third most in Major League history. When he retired. He also won the National League Cy Young Award in 1979. And of his 300 career saves, 188 of them were more than one inning. Just a list of his career statistics: 6-time All-Star World Series champion 1982, National League Cy Young Award winner 1979, 4 times the National League Rolaids Relief Award man, 5-time National League saves leader, St. Louis Cardinals number 42 retired, in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, he's in the Cubs Hall of Fame, and he's in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Rest in peace, Bruce Sutter.
Thank you, Chip. Let's go to VIP.
All right, well, here we go. So,
Come on.
I just want to talk about today. So the Yankees, I believe, ended up beating the Indians. Or not the
Yes!
Indians. I got it wrong. Look at me. I called them the Indians. I meant to say the Guardians.
I have
so-
one question. How
Yeah.
can you call a sports team the Guardians?
Good question.
I
Not
can't
the
do it.
point. I'll give that opinion another time. I think they were just saving on letters because they both ended the same. Anyway,
That's brilliant.
yeah, isn't it? So the Yankees ended up beating the Guardians, and now here we are. The Yankees are going to the championship series. I'm happy about that. Smoking Jim's happy about that. But I figured I'd reveal a little bit to all of you because I get this question a lot when I mention that I'm a Yankees fan. Everybody wants to know why. And it has a tie-in to a subject that I've talked about previously, and I'll tell you all the story right now. So, when I was growing up, I was big on the Pirates. As usual, I like going to PNC Park. I liked the team. But the problem is that when you're growing up and you're little and you're trying to be involved in baseball, it's hard to really attach yourself to players that are constantly on the carousel, in and out, and you don't really get to, fall in love, so to speak, with the team or the sport because, like, it was just hard to watch.
Good point.
I almost cried when Jason Bay got traded in 2008.
Me too.
I remember that. It was
He
very
doesn't know
sad.
who
And
he
I was
is.
in denial because my mom was telling me, she's like, Nicholas, he doesn't play for the team anymore. And I'm like, you're lying. It's not true. I didn't know any better because I was only 9 years old. But it was rough. And so I talk about video games too because when I try to get to know the Pirates in the video games, there were no reoccurring players that would come through on the team. They would all kind of, like Jack Wilson stuck out to me a lot. That was about it. Oliver Perez was also one of my favorite pitchers back when he was on the Pirates. I remember I just liked his name and his face, and he was left-handed, so that was cool.
He was a pretty good pitcher for a while.
He was. I don't think he's officially retired yet.
No,
either.
he was still
somewhere.
in the league. He pitched here in Pittsburgh last year. I'm not sure if he was on anybody's roster
I don't
this
think
season.
he didn't pitch for the Pirates.
No, he didn't pitch for the Riot. He pitched here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, right. I understand. For another
Okay.
team, I understand. I thought you meant okay.
No.
Same point. But
He's on a roll. Go, Nick.
Yeah, but so it was hard to recognize players, and then so
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, well, how do I want to venture away from the Pirates a little bit? Because I would play video games when I was younger, and I'd see the team and I'd see the Pirates, and again, nobody was recognizable. So now I'm going and I'm searching. I'm just like, let me try another team. Let me try playing with another team. And I was mad because my dad showed me no mercy when I was little. He usually always beat me, and one of my cousins played with me a couple times, and he always beat me. And I'm like, why am I losing? I'm the Pirates. I didn't realize that that's why I was losing at the time, but that's what's happening. So I'm like, you know what? By the time I was 9, I think so somewhere between 7 and 9 years old, I was just like, I need to switch it up. So I'm searching through and I'm just looking at teams and nobody's really like catching my eye. And then I stumble upon the name Derek Jeter and I'm like, huh, that name's appealing to me as a young kid. I don't know why. And I was just like, huh, okay, let me try the Yankees out. Had no clue about any reputation of any Major League Baseball teams. The only team I knew up until that point was the Pirates, but I see this Derek Jeter character and I'm like, interesting. I played with the Yankees and I start winning games. Interesting. Okay, well, of course, because they're the Yankees, but it's like, okay, this is appealing, and now I go through, I learn through reading. Now, how about this? I did pick up some books. I picked up some almanacs.
I'm proud of you, unlike my boy Smoking.
Right? Because there was more value for me as a little kid to kind of like see the consistency that Jeter had. And he, at that time, he was like on the team for over 10 years. So, okay, and he's still showing up. Every video game that I'd gotten until he retired, he's in the game. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, and I would watch his contract dwindle too because the video games would keep that record of that. And I'm like, ooh, his contract's going to expire. What happens after that? Is he going to retire? I was always scared, but I'm like, he's still on the team.
But
This
you
is cool.
still didn't know how good the Yankees were then?
I didn't know how good the Yankees were.
That's interesting.
I didn't even watch the 2009 World Series. I was still that naive to baseball. I had no clue that they won the World Series until I was in middle school, and my friend was like, yeah, they just won it. They're in the championship series right now against the Rangers back in 2010. And I was like, oh, so they're good. Okay, interesting. I was very naive to baseball and the history of baseball until like.
Hold on,
I was
how
in high
young
school.
were you?
I was 7 years old when I started using the team, and I was 11 when I found out they won the
You were
World Series.
barely out of a diaper, so
I guess so.
I give you all the credit in the world.
But here's what I want to talk about as it relates to the video games as well, and opening the portal and maybe opening their minds to the benefits of it. It's like I would go. It's
not gonna work.
That's okay. It doesn't need to work, but just considering some things. The internet's a shady place. So when you go and you try to look up rosters and stuff as a little kid, maybe you click on an ad or something that you don't want to click on because the internet's kind of dangerous. And even when I tried to search when I was little, just something as simple as Pittsburgh Pirates lineup, nothing would show up because the players the team didn't really have a consistent lineup. Unlike the
I didn't
Yankees,
know that. I
or
find that
or
interesting.
unlike other teams that would play. So the safest way to search teams and the safest way to experiment and just kind of learn about the game and how things were was to go through video games. They're vetted. There's nobody's going to hack those. Everything was local and internally processed and internally shown. So score one for video games there. The reason why I became a fan of the Yankees was because of Derek Jeter, and I was happy to learn later on that the teams are in different leagues, which meant that I don't have to hate one or the other
Right.
until the World Series.
Right.
If the World Series were to come around, which seems unlikely for the Pirates right now. I don't know if these teams are ever going to meet. But sadly enough, too, and interestingly enough, the only the only year that I've been alive so far where the Yankees and the Pirates were in the playoffs together was 2015, and they both lost in the wild card round. So R.I.P. to me. Didn't have anybody to root for that year. It's kind of tough. But just another point and another example of where video games kind of opened up a portal for me as a person to learn and explore a sport that I really liked, and to kind of venture out and learn more about the sport. Not even just the Yankees, but just learn about the other 29 teams that weren't the Pirates. That's my opinion.
Great job.
So may I ask for an opinion from
Me?
you? Yes.
Okay.
Because you brought this up. So you know a little bit about Derek Jeter. You
Yeah.
know how great of a baseball player he was.
Yeah, and actually,
The captain.
that's actually what I forgot to mention too. It's like
Could you think of a logical reason why he was not a unanimous selection into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, what
Yeah.
a question.
I think that
Because one sports writer did not vote for him.
a logical. I mean, I can understand that, like, for a guy that might value numbers, like a sports writers might, that he didn't put up the numbers. He wasn't like the.
He did. 3,600 hits.
That's it. Oh, you're a hit. Chip's a hits guy, not a home runs guy.
Yeah.
Chip's a
Home
hits
run,
guy.
you
right?
know what?
You know what? No, listen, he made sparkling plays when it counted. He led really well. That was something that drove me to kind of be like him too, in a way, not exactly like him, but I enjoyed how he led and how he rarely argued like many do, and how he just conducted himself and hustled and did things the way he did them, and that inspired me to do well in my own baseball career. But why wouldn't he be a Hall of Famer? I would say
No,
numbers.
unanimous.
I mean, unanimous selection, yeah.
Unanimous. Because
unanimous.
if you look at his numbers, and please,
Oh, trust me, I have.
please do, his numbers scream first ballot.
Chip,
Unanimous.
I can't believe we're disagreeing.
Hold it. We're going to end this. You can agree to disagree,
All right.
because I think we're having something trouble with Facebook.
Let me see.
And Greg Kirby, hello, I'm doing great. That's my catcher from Little League and beyond. I still remember who he is, and he knows I pitched. That's a shout out to Smoking Jim. We're just going to go to the final segment of On Location.
On location.
All right. On Location. Whew. We thought we had some stuff happening with On Location, but not yet. We might be doing an On Location with Grandmaster Zhang at the Pittsburgh Zoo, maybe Thursday night. It's tentative right now. So we'll see that. It's a lantern dancing, and his Taekwondo studio is going to be performing with 42 dancers. Wow. So we may go out to the zoo on Thursday night. So we'll see how that goes. On Location, we don't have much happening right now. We're looking for future shows in boxing. 6'8" was mentioning, I forget what showed up there, it's gone. But he was saying how the Steelers are going to beat everybody and win their games with Mitch Trubisky in there. So 6'8's all in on Mitch. So Smoking Jim, get your money ready, because 6'8" can't be wrong.
Mike Shook be a nice tight end for the Steelers. So at that height and his wingspan.
Well, he's 6'8",
and his athleticism, he'd be a good tight
and
end.
he doesn't mind working out. Chief said, interesting perspective, MVP.
Yeah.
And then Tony from Chick-fil-A says, if a book does not have pictures, Smoking Jim walks away. Tony, you're 100% right. You got that? Well, since we don't have On Location coming up with anything, we got anything else on somebody's mind here for the last 2 minutes?
Yeah,
Chip?
no, we started hockey season.
That's what I wanted to get
And
out.
now, and here's what we got. We've got the same core
17
three.
years.
17 years they're playing together.
Longest ever.
The Penguins revamped their defense, and obviously in October you can't really anticipate what kind of team the Penguins are going to have come April. They've got healthy goaltending. Tristan Jarry is healthy. Casey DeSmith is healthy. Evgeny Malkin, 3 games, 3 goals. Scored 2 goals last night in a loss. Evgeny looked really good last night.
You see the shape he's in and how he's flying
And
up
you know,
and
and
down
here's
the ice.
here's the thing.
He's not the Mad Ruski anymore.
Here's the thing. He needs to stay healthy. Sid Crosby, 6 points in the first 2 games. 2 goals, 4 assists.
How about interrupt you? First time ever, Sid Crosby's been here 17 years. He scored the opening goal in the
Of the
first
season.
of the season in
Of
the
the
first
season.
game. Yes.
Yeah, so there's got a lot to look forward to. There's still a lot to be developed on this Penguin team. They completely revamped the defense. They still have Dumoulin. They still have Tanger
Yeah.
back there, but they brought in some other pieces. One of the pieces they brought in from Montreal was the reason why we lost the game last night, cross-checking in overtime.
Yes.
Gave them a power play, finished the game. But I think the Penguins are going to be a contender this year.
No, they looked really good and they looked fast. Now, I always have the question at 17-year veterans, how can they look fast? The way they handled the puck, they looked fast.
Are they 3-0?
No, they're 2-1. They're 2-0-1.
2-0-1.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't follow hockey or baseball, Smoking Jim. You're holding your reputation up. I say go Pens. It was fun watching their first 3 games.
No, they're
enjoyed
going to be
it.
worth paying attention to.
Definitely so. Any thoughts, Nick?
No.
All right, that's enough. We're good. Smoking Jim, he's just looking debonair. Look at him.
Styling and profiling.
Yeah,
thanks,
let's
John.
see a shoe. What shoe do you got on?
Yeah, what
I
size?
got my brown leather.
What size
All
barge are
right,
you floating in?
we're going to end it. Please stay Joey strong.